योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार योगीराम सूरत कुमार जय गुरु राया राम 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 तुरकुमा योगी राम तुरकुमा योगी राम तुरकुमा योगी राम तुरकुमा योगी राम तुरकुमा जय गुरु राया राम 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 Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram, Rama Rama Rama. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Yogira Kuratuma, Jai Guru Raya. Rama 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 Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru Raya. Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Rama Ram, Rama 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 Ram, Rama Rama Ram. Bhagavan Shri Yogi Ram Surat Kumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ram Surat Kumararpanamastu. Once again, with deep gratitude for this great fortune of being able to gather here in His powerful presence and sing His powerful Nama for 1 hour as Sankirtan, knowing that it's no small grace. In celebration of this, we have offered the Nama lotuses at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Just 2 days back, the great festival, the festival of lights, called Deepavali, was being celebrated all over India. We went through the details of such a festival and how the festival represents the victory of the good over the evil. Now there's a deeper interpretation. The true meaning of this festival is given by Sri Ramana Bhagavan And this we have to go through in the light of Bhagavan Shri Yogi Ram Sarit Kumar's teachings as well. Srimad Bhagavan says, all the problems of life, and they keep arising endlessly like the waves of the ocean. But what is the root cause? The root of all the problems, the root of all the difficulties. He says, it is this selfish I, the ego I, that identifies with the body. This is all we know right from the birth. The mother says that I am your mother. She points to her body and says, I am your mother. And then she points to another form and says, this is your father. And then we have brothers, sisters. Every identification is done with the body and all that is related to the body. So right from the beginning of our life, we live in names and forms. Now, this identification with the body is called ego. This is a false self. Raman Bhagavan says, this false self is the asura, Narakasura. Why? This ego lances in one hell after the other. All the problems are related to this ego. And what is this ego? Selfishness, I and mine. Where we identify with the body and say, I want it for myself. I should get it. If there are 108 people competing, I should get it. And if I don't get it, I want it for my people, my relatives, my friends, my country, my language, my religion. I and mine. Rooted in utter selfishness, which is called the false self, the ego self. Now because of which there is so much division. And because of this division, growing enmity. And so, violence. This is what we see in today's world. So, Raman Bhagavan says, Deepavali, the festival of lights, is celebrated in memory of the death of Narakasura. Naraka means hell, Asura, an embodiment of evil. Now it is the victory of the good over the evil. He says, once the ego self is destroyed, then what remains is the true self, the divine self, which does not identify itself with anything because there are no others. Bhagavan says, Yogi Ram Sarit Kumar says, my Father alone exists. There is nothing else, no one else. What does it mean? What does he mean by Father? The one divinity which goes in the name of Shiva, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Allah. It's all one divinity in different manifestations, in different contexts, in the run of the cosmos. Now, behind it all is that supreme Brahman, what we call Parabrahman. And this Parabrahman is that pure awareness. This is what is the true I, this capital I, which identifies itself with the whole cosmos, not which is the body which is so confined. Now, because of the ego self, the small I, let's call it, this ego I is full of ignorance. It does not know the truth. It believes that it is the body, and all that is related to the body alone is real. But once this small I, this Maya I, is destroyed, the capital I behind it shines as the true light in all its brilliance. This is Deepavali. Deepavali. It is the light of knowledge, the light of supreme knowledge. The very name Bharat is given to India because this land revels in the light of supreme knowledge. It's called the Jnana. Bha is rooted in the word light. Bha means light, Rati, reveling. So Bharat is the one that revels in the light of true knowledge, that supreme knowledge. And what is that supreme knowledge? The Chaitanya that's within all of us. Paramatma, we call it Antaryami, Paramatma. That is behind this Jivatma inside us. And this Jivatma is the ego I that identifies itself with the body and suffers all the adversities of life. Oh, I have got this. I got this disease. The neighbor doesn't have it. The one who lives opposite, he doesn't suffer in any way. Why me? I alone suffer. Why would God let me down? Why is this happening only in my house? It's not happening in the neighbor's house or anyone that I know of. This ego self begins to lament, considering all the misfortunes that it has to go through. But once this identification with the body is gone, how will it be gone? He says, in Deepavali, the story is Narayana uses his discus. He throws it at Narakasura, and Narakasura is destroyed. Like this, he said, find out who this Maya I is. Am I truly the body? Am I the body alone? My consciousness is so limited. I do not know what is behind me. I do not know what's going to happen in future. I have very limited knowledge, very limited experience, and so I am rooted in ignorance. So I suffer. Before something happens, we begin to fear, and the fear grows into such proportion, it eats us up. And finally we land in a mental hospital, and all medicines all through. Take anger. Anger is poison. We get angry because people don't agree with us, or people do something which we don't like. So you see, all this spring from the false I, the ego I. He is the Asura, the Narakasura, who lands you in Naraka, one hell after the other. But once you begin to inquire who this I is it a true I? And as you go deeper into the question, you finally land in the true I, which shines like 1 koti, that is 10 million suns. It's all effulgence and it's pure awareness, and it has nothing else to be aware of. So it is self-awareness. This is capital I. When this manifests, it becomes personal God, and it's called Ishvara, or you can call it Ishwari. It means the same thing. A God who runs the whole cosmos with his laws. So now, Ramana Bhagavan says that you do this self-enquiry and destroy the small I. Don't be confined to selfishness and all that is related to it. Fear, anger, self-pride, sorrow, jealousy, growing desires for the world. But this Atma Vichara needs a lot of concentration and purity. It doesn't come easily to people. Even to get an intellectual knowledge, an understanding of this Atma Vichara, it takes time. Especially when the mind is full of desires for the objects of the world, it's very difficult to concentrate even on worldly things. And what to say of God? God who has no name or form. So Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar says, first, you learn to purify your mind. What is purification of the mind? We keep desiring one after the other. The mind naturally wants varieties, newness. After you buy something, and for some time it's a great excitement and fun, and after some time you begin to lose interest. You want a new one. And then you plan for something bigger and newer. So this goes on endlessly. So he says, to get rid of the desires, to get rid of your distractions, to get rid of all that is unwanted in you, chant the name of God. The name of God has all the power and grace of God. And what does the name do? The name has the extraordinary power to destroy all your past sins. It is the past sins that come to you as obstacles in achievement of your goal. It is the past sins that appear as diseases in the body. This Nama chanting has the great power to destroy your past sins, and it can also prevent you from doing any further sins. And what can it do? It can attack that which is the foundation of this ignorance, that is desire. It will slowly remove the desire for things, and with that comes vairagya, dispassion. And as dispassion develops, you find your mind getting more and more purified, and there will be less and less distractions. There will be less and less fear. There will be less and less anger. There will be less and less sorrow. You begin to understand the secret of your soul. You begin to understand all that is related to this creation, the cosmos, and the Maya of manifestation. So the great ones say that our identification of the body, if anybody should ask you, who are you? They will say immediately, I am so and so, and they'll go into elaborate description of the biodata. Naturally, this biodata has to change, and it keeps changing, and we get into this ignorance more and more. So somehow or the other, we should connect ourselves to God. God is the only truth.
God is that only self. God is that capital I behind the small I. It is His consciousness inside that filters through our ego to limited consciousness. It is His supreme intelligence that filters through our ego into our limited intelligence. So we have to break all the barriers that come in the way between you and God, either by self-inquiry, if it's possible for you, in total clarity, or by beginning to chant the name, and that ceaselessly. So our Bhagwan has suggested something very easy to do, because you can buy vegetables in the market still chanting the name. You can do it in a crowd, you can do it in a forest, wherever you are. If you light the deepam of Nama on your tongue, you know it will drive away, it will chase away all the darkness inside and outside. So let us remember these great teachings of the great ones. I remember a particular instant. I happened to be there in the Sanadi Street house veranda. There was a child brought by the child's mother, a baby girl, only 8 months. And she laid it before our Bhagwan, and Bhagwan looked at it with all tenderness. And when he bent towards his baby girl, the baby girl immediately caught hold of his thumb and held it tight, and she wouldn't let him go. There was such a beautiful smile on Bhagwan's face, and with the other hand, he started to stroke the child's head and ran it through right up to the toes on the feet. So this happened for nearly half an hour. And afterwards, he said, business-like, "My father's work is over, now you can take the baby." And then he immediately sent them away. But later, when I met that lady after 2 years, she was saying that the child was very strange. After she brought the child to Bhagwan, it would never say I. If the girl, if she wanted something, her name was Anusha, the child would say, "Anusha wants this. Please give this to Anusha." And she would point to the body, but she would never say I. Their parents found it very strange, and then they began to teach the child, "What is it, you're so ignorant? This is you. This is not just Anusha, this is you. Say I." So after 2 or 2.5 years, the child began to say, "I wanted. This is my toy." So this I and mine, even after the child came to Bhagwan, and for 2 years the child never used the word I. This is the influence of the great souls. So let us connect ourselves to some great soul and follow the teachings. And here our Bhagwan very clearly stated, Nama and Nami, the name and the named are one and the same. So when you chant the name of God, when you connect with the name of God, he said, you just call out to Shiva, Shiva is instantly present. Call out to Rama, Rama is instantly present. Call out to Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, my father is instantly present. And he knows your feelings, your prayers, your problems, and he will do the needful. So slowly, we begin to develop love for this name and the named, and the purification starts. So there will be less and less desires and all that is associated with it. So let's remember these teachings, the true festival of light, the light of lights, is that inner I, capital I, that which shines always in all its brilliance. And that is our true identity. The very goal of life is to finally reach this I from the small I by sadhana. We shall now offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, we beg you, for that's all we can do, and we beg you million times for your immediate divine intervention to bring forth a dharmic normalcy to this world, the world of violence today, growing enmity between people and people, between countries and countries, and already the war is going on with all its atrocities. And there is the attack of new diseases and the furies of nature like flash flood, earthquake, and forest fire and whatnot. Bhagavan, you, the cosmic controller, alone can bring forth peace, unity, growing understanding and love between people and countries and countries. Only you have control over the violence of nature, over the violence of attack of the diseases. We beg you to destroy, to uproot all the negativities of the human mind which are responsible for today's world, the world of division in everything. We beg you again to reach out to all those people who have been stranded in varied parts of the world, no matter which community they belong, which religion they belong, which language they speak. They are in great distress, unable to find help and protection. We beg you to reach out to them and do the needful. We also beg you to protect all those unselfish people who have been working very hard for the sake of the others from unhealthy criticisms and violence and aspiration. We beg you again to promote the economy of the country and the growth in varied fields of activity, that it reaches a great state. We beg you again, we pray to you in all earnestness and sincerity for ceaseless chanting of your name and unbroken remembrance of your teachings and leelas, so that we benefit so much that we become sattvic instruments in your hands. Please bless us so that we run our everyday life as an offering to you, and that we be not caught by the temptations of Maya. We seek that ultimate grace, that ultimate blessing for that ultimate state of bliss and peace, but then we need to be purified. We take refuge in your powerful Nama and ceaseless chanting of that, and joyful service to you without any unhealthy competition, jealousy, and that in the spirit of surrender to you. And Bhagavan, we also seek your blessings for the practice of acceptance of whatever life brings to us, be it a joy or sorrow, knowing that they come from you, and whatever comes from you can only be a blessing. You are our well-wisher. And it's a blessing in disguise, meant for our spiritual growth, for our closer kinship with you. And as the mind becomes more and more pure, we will be able to see your vibrant, living, pulsating presence everywhere in everything. Please bless us to be able to see your will, your sankalpa, behind all the happenings of life, all the happenings of the world. It is your grand plan that is at work. Please bless us so that we detect that hidden grace even in the most disastrous adversities of life. Instead of lamenting over it, putting the blame on others for our own failures, and resenting that you are not blessing us anymore, we try to move away from you in times of suffering, and yet compassionate and gracious that you are, you have it again in your fold and convert all our difficulties into blessings. Bhagwan, please bless us to be grateful to you always, even for the adversities of life. We seek your blessings for all the species of the cosmos to be lifted to a higher plane. And finally, we who have been seeking only solutions for problems and problems seek now dissolution of this ego, this Narakasura, the true Narakasura in all of us, the tyranny of the ego, so that we be free from the vicious cycle of births and deaths, and that we be blessed with eternal living and eternal servitude to you, that eternal supreme entity. Jai Yogi Ram Sri Kumar.